Hi, I'm Juliana McMillan-Wilthwaite. I'm a cartographer of change for both people and organizations. What that means is that I work with mission-driven organizations to help them increase their power through GIS, but I'm also really passionate about working with the GIS and geospatial community to help individuals map their future and to work on creating a career and a life that they love. So one of the things that I have done a lot of is getting active on LinkedIn. It's been really helpful for me in my professional life. And I think that it's a really underutilized resource by people when they are job hunting. Traditionally, it's been thought that if you get active on LinkedIn, it must mean that you are looking for a new job. And that's not the case. LinkedIn is a really great place to put yourself out there, to build a brand, which can lead to really great opportunities, even if you are not looking for a new job. So for example, I was just approached to give a guest lecture in India virtually because of COVID, but that was just because of connections that I had built on LinkedIn. I've been given really great opportunities to interview for jobs and other things just because of building up a active presence on LinkedIn. And so in this video, I'm actually going to walk through in real time, me doing some updates to my LinkedIn profile. So I have sort of a list of a few things that I'm going to go through, but this is just a video to sort of talk through some of my thoughts on how to update your LinkedIn profile and why you might want to do it. All right, so I'm over here on linkedin.com and I am currently on my profile. So one of the things that I highly recommend that people do if you are not aware of how to do this is to actually change your username or your profile name on LinkedIn. So it tends to default to your first name, last name, and then a bunch of letters. That's something you can actually specialize. So I am at Juliana Mapper across all of my social media channels. And so on LinkedIn, I also wanted it to be Juliana Mapper. That's something that I will put a link in the description box below that will to provide a link on how you can get to that. So once you're on your page, right? A lot of times people will think about their LinkedIn profile as being something like a resume. And it is a resume, right? It's a place where people will oftentimes go and look and see, who are you? What have you done? When did you graduate from college? But it's also a really great place for you to showcase who you are. So we oftentimes talk about the importance of building a personal value proposition, building a personal brand. And I think that your LinkedIn profile page is a place where that is really important. And so I'm not saying that my page is perfect. That's actually why I'm here right now, is to fix it. So the goal with the page, with your profile page though, is to be able to demonstrate the unique background that you have, the skills that you have that make you an exceptional person in the world. And so that is not just, it's being able to show you as a whole person. And we'll talk about a few ways that you can maybe show some of that whole person side of things, even if you, don't have necessarily line items on your resume to show those things off. So the most important thing, I think one of the really important things is your headline. And so this defaults to where you work, but I think it's also really important to think about, are there ways that you can spice that up? So does it make more sense that you say that you are a geospatial team leader, that you are a GIS analyst? I say that I'm a cartographer of change for both people and organizations, passionate about data for good, exceptional analyst, geospatial educator, mentor, and connector. You can figure out, do whatever you want to do, but the important thing is that you are creating a consistent story across the board. So if you're saying that you are a geospatial team leader, then you have to have evidence that you are a geospatial team leader. That doesn't mean that you actually have to be in a role as a geospatial team lead or as a manager. We just have to work on developing the evidence that you are what you say that you are. So on my profile, I currently have that I am open to work and that I am providing services. So I think that it's always great as someone who is, as a person who's working to just always be open to opportunities as they arise. So you may not have that same that same thought, but if you say that you are open to work on LinkedIn, that then means that people are going to come, that you'll show up in searches that recruiters do. So I said that you just click this open to, and then the only option left here is hiring, but that you can select what you are looking for. Other thing that we can see here is I have my profile picture that's here. I also have my header image. I think a lot of times people don't really think about their header images. This is actually one of the things that I want to change. I may not change it in this video, but I want to create something that shows more that I am a team builder and that I am an educator rather than just this, which is Map My Future. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but again, it's a really great opportunity to be able to communicate what you do. One thing that I do have is that I have a profile cover story, and a cover story is a new thing that they have. What that means is that I care a lot about employers. That's something that sort of becomes like a Harry Potter-ish image, and that's something I'd really encourage you to do. If you look on someone's profile and they have that orange bar around their profile picture, that means that they have the cover photo or cover story. So that's something I would really encourage you to do. But really, I want to really think about what is a story that you want to tell and how are you showing up on LinkedIn. So you have your about section, and this is something that I think I have not always paid that much attention to, but it's definitely something that I go to and I look at on people's profiles. So your goal with your about section is to explain who you are, what sort of roles that you do, but you want to be concise and to the point and make sure that people understand and can see that. But this featured section is something that I don't think many people use, but essentially what this does is this pins posts that you have to the top of your profile. So this is a way that you can put content that you want people to see that's really important about who you are up at the top. And this is, right, these are the first posts about you that people see. So I'm actually going to edit these because I don't super love these being my featured posts. So I'm going to remove that one, and I'm going to remove this one about my Mappy hours. And those served a purpose at a time, but I don't want those anymore. So if you want to actually go find posts to pin, you can go to See Activity, and then you can go to Posts. Then I'm going to actually scroll down, and I am going to, I had a post last week. This was my post. If I click those 3 dots up at the top, I can go feature on top of profile. And now that one is going to be on the top. So if I go to see featured, it's loading. If I scroll down here, then we can see that spatial inequality and then my Friday introduction. I think it looks really good if you have 3. So I'm just going to find another post. In part, I'm actually looking for posts that have done pretty well. I get more engagement. I have a number of connections on LinkedIn, but just in part, those vanity metrics can mean something. But also, I want these to be the posts that sort of talk about things that I do. So I'm just going to pick this one. This is a Map Critique Monday, which is something that I do every Monday on LinkedIn, where we critique a map. And so now on the top of my LinkedIn profile, we will see that I have these 3 posts. So I'm going to actually reorder them by clicking that little pencil. And I think that I can reorder them. Yes, if I click the little barry thing. So I want the picture of me and my nappy husband to be first. And then we'll go with the spatial inequality And so that is, I think, a super underutilized way to be able to show off the work that you do. So say, for example, that you are like volunteering with your church is something that's really important to you. Say that you've done mission work where you've served for a period of time overseas, but that's something that doesn't necessarily make sense in your profile or like on your resume. It's actually something that's like really impacted you. You could write a post about it that's a little bit longer, include a photo because that gets people more engaged. That's something you can actually pin as a featured thing on the top of your profile. And I think it would really help you explain a little bit more what you do. I'm a huge fan of portfolios and using a portfolio as a way for you to tell your story. But I think that you can get some of the benefits of a portfolio with utilizing some of these things on LinkedIn. So if I keep going down, you'll notice that I have sort of a lot of words on some of these and no words on others. And that's something that I want to now fix. And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time writing words, and you don't necessarily have to watch me write those words. But one thing that I did also want to show and share was about how one thing that I think can be really helpful is to begin to provide visual evidence for the work that you do. So we pinned images, we pinned some posts up here. You can also provide external links for things. So I was a GIS adjunct instructor at North Park University. And so if someone were to click that, they would see this picture from North Park University that got pulled in, but then they can also click view and they can see more information. So I think that that is a great way for you if you have maps or some other things that you've developed, you can actually provide links to them directly on your profile. So this is then linking over to my portfolio. One thing though, that as I'm seeing this, that I'm going to do is I'm going to click edit. And then if I go down here to under the add media, this is where I can add that additional information. But I can, I'm gonna actually type here, click the link. And one thing that I actually really like is if I Google LinkedIn font. So you can actually, you go to fancyfonts.top. You can actually get stuff formatted in a way that will make them be like bold and stand out on LinkedIn. So if I just copy this text, I'm gonna post it here, and a lot of these are ones that I don't like, but I'm gonna take, I'm gonna just I think that I did this right. No, I didn't. Well, we're learning as we go. There's another website that I use. LinkedIn font generator, there we go. Click the link to learn more. And I want one like this. So I'm just going to copy this. And this is right, this is just really helpful to be able to get things that are bold and make more sense to people. And my computer is taking its sweet time. We've got some, no, there's actually no GIS that's running in the background. All right, or maybe we're not gonna do this. All right, so we're gonna click apply. And save that. If I now go back over here. Yeah, okay, so that didn't come through. Maybe it only works in posts and not something like this. I'm not really sure, right? As I said, we're just going on the fly here as we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually work on adding some additional text. But what I'm going to do as I add in text is that the goal with this is I want to be proving that I am a capable person, that I'm passionate about the geospatial community, and that I'm a communicator, I'm an educator, and I care about data for good.
All right, so you'll just see me in a sort of speeded up version here where I am going through the process that I used to update my portfolio. So I ended up doing most of my work in Notepad. For whatever reason, my internet was running really slowly, and so it just made the most sense for me to do everything in not in the LinkedIn site, but then also that was a little bit more free from distractions. So I ended up making a decision that I wanted to use an emoji and map pins for my portfolio, and instead of other bullet points. So I'm copying those over into this notepad. But my goal with the text that I end up writing within the notepad is to really write a clear and compelling description of the work that I am currently doing within my day job. So I talk about how I am the owner of a demand model which forecasts out future growth, that I've developed out policies and procedures, and how I am making an impact on my team. So again, everything that I'm putting into this update relates very specifically to that personal value proposition.
All right, so I worked on writing that information out, worked on updating a line item there within my resume. But the other thing that I did, I typed it outside of LinkedIn, and then I'm going to actually put it in here. And you can see I have, I use Grammarly, which was not in my notepad, which just helps make sure that, I'm putting my best foot forward, and helps me find mistakes that I might make. But one thing that I ended up using here was, instead of regular bullet points, I decided to use emojis. I love emojis. I know not everyone thinks that they are the most professional, but I think that they really show a lot about who I am as a person. It really helps to break up the text as well. And I think it can also create consistency, because sometimes your bullets are not the same if you copy and paste things from different parts of a resume or something else. So I'm going to actually go and update. I use the round push pin there. I'm going to use the world emoji. Again, this is where I'm just adding my personal flavor and style to my LinkedIn profile. So I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to go edit and just do a quick read over. Again, this is not stuff that necessarily totally has to be perfect. You want your best foot being put out in the world, but you also don't want that to be something that prevents you from doing great work out there. So I'm also, just because I think that it's just going to read better, I am putting line breaks in here. And so anyway, that's at a high level ways that I have gone about updating my LinkedIn profile. I'd really love to know if there are things from this that resonate with you, anything that you learned that was new. Would love it if you gave me a like and subscribe to keep getting more of this type of content.
Hey, so we are less than 24 hours later after I updated my profile, and I just wanted to give a quick update. So one of the things that I do is I work with faith-based organizations, but that was something that wasn't really clearly expressed in my profile before I did that update. And so today I ended up getting a LinkedIn message request from LinkedIn connection request with a message from someone who had found me because of that faith-based work that I was doing within the world of mapping. And so you're not always going to see those results overnight, but I just wanted to add in that that was something that I had done really quickly. And it ended up leading to a really interesting connection and someone who I am getting a virtual coffee with. So I can't wait to see how you update and optimize your LinkedIn profile. And as always, I am rooting for you and I am on your team and cheering for you.